Hey Risers, Janie here, and today we're just working on how to have a consistent approach no matter where the ball is. So, whether it's inside or outside, I don't want to change my load, change my stride, change everything about my swing in order to hit a certain pitch location. So our load really sets up everything for our swing, and so today we're going to be working on that approach. And so you can have your tee set up just middle, maybe warm up a few. I don't know if you've seen my other lesson with coiling, but we're going to be working with this tool behind us right here. So all this is a tee. It's an extra tee. You can use a block, you can use a bucket of balls, anything to kind of put behind your back leg to prevent you from shifting too far into that backside, and really encouraging you to coil into the backside. So just go ahead and take a few to warm up. As you're warming up, I'm just going to talk a little bit about tee positioning, okay? So we're going to start out with the outside pitch. I just want you to work middle out, okay? So we're not going to work the corners, we're going to work middle out, middle in, and I want you to be consistent with your approach. So wherever you set up, I really want you to try to be aware of if you are crossing over. So you might want to maybe you have an extra bat, maybe you have a chalk line, a piece of tape, anything that you can put to prevent you from crossing over to that outside pitch, because sometimes we feel like we need to get closer to it. So we're going to work on that middle out pitch. And I want you to really work on trying to hit this into the gap. So the gap is between left field and center field, and we're really trying to shoot the gap, so that way when we get a middle inside pitch, we're going to try to hit that gap as well. And so if I try to take this outside pitch, if I think I need to hit it down the line, I am going to make an over adjustment on this pitch and kind of really change my swing and my posture. And so all I'm thinking is, okay, this is a little bit farther away from me, I need to let it come in a little bit more, and I want to hit this into the gap. And so we're going to keep everything consistent. We're going to keep our load consistent, our stride consistent. And then you're going to trust your coverage, your back coverage. That's the biggest thing, is that we feel like we can't reach this pitch. And so that's why we step over, we cross over, and we try to reach the pitch by crossing over and diving over. So what that leads to is when I cross over, I'm now bringing my posture over the plate, and now I'm too close to the ball, so now I have to make an adjustment, and then I end up kind of flaring it off instead of staying neutral and staying in my normal load and stride, and then being able to still take this ball into the gap. All right, middle inside pitch. Same thing, I don't want to step out. So maybe you need to put that bat behind your feet. Maybe you put it behind here, so that way when you're working on this pitch, you don't step out to make room for this pitch. All right, so that's why we like to stride with a little bit of that open toe, because it creates room for us to get behind this ball. So I'm gonna move back just a little bit because my tee is in a tricky spot right on the edge of the turf, but I don't want to practice hitting the inside pitch too close to me. So you want to make sure that it's in the right position. I'm middle in, and I'm just going to load and try to keep a consistent swing. That's a little too inside for what we're working on today. I want to make it middle in. So I'm going to make sure that it's kind of on that middle third of the plate, and that middle outside pitch is on that middle third of the plate. We're not going to worry about the corners today, but I want to keep a consistent load and stride, so that way I can take this pitch to the gap. I don't want to yank it down the line, especially middle in. If I get a middle inside pitch, I'm taking that to the gap. I'm not trying to rip it down the line, because what happens if I try to rip this pitch down the line, a middle inside pitch, that means that I'm going to almost opposite of diving over and kind of flaring this way. I'm going to pull off of this pitch. Now what happens if I get an outside pitch and I'm overcommitted to the inside pitch? I'm not going to be in a good position. And so today is all about controlling your stride, Because a lot of times when you're working on the tee or you're working on front toss and you know an outside pitch is coming, or you're working on the machine, it's set up for outside or it's set up for inside, a lot of times we over adjust with our bodies, but that's not realistic to the game. Because in the game, we don't really know what's coming. And even if we want a certain thing, we're not always gonna get it. And so we have to kind of keep that approach neutral. And so working on inside and outside locations, trying to hit the gaps, and then also putting those markers either in front of you or behind you to keep your stride nice and neutral is going to lead to a much more consistent approach.